Hey everyone, so with the latest Berserk releases, chapter 364, 365, 366 and 367, which is leaked early, I have a few things to talk about today. So, in case you forgot, the very last chapter we got, around the time that Kentaro and Miura sadly passed, was basically half drawn by Miura and half drawn by his team, Studio Gaga. I'm not too sure at this point whether Kouji Mori was actually working on it at that time, but yeah, if you remember, the chapter started, so this is chapter 364, it started with the Moonlight Boy turning up on Elf Island. And much to the shock of everyone, like Shirk thought that the Moonlight Boy was actually Danon in disguise, and he just kind of starts mucking around. And yeah, throughout the episode, like, Moonlight Boy cuddles up to Casca, he gets into Guts' armor, he starts like playing around in it, and like Guts is like, why are you in that? And then after all of that, after basically like general shenanigans and just kind of cutesy, light-hearted fun, right at the end, in front of Guts' very eyes, he transforms into Griffith. Now we know that Griffith and the Moonlight Boy are pretty much one and the same, two spirits stuck in the same body, because of course Griffith, as Femto, had to be reincarnated to actually get back into the world of the living from the abyss. So, through the, I call it the egg of sacrifice, the egg apostle basically, Griffith was reincarnated into Guts and Casca's kind of malformed child, and grew into an even more perfect version of Griffith. And it's generally like a wholesome chapter. Like it's really nice. Like Casca is basically just, without even knowing, showing her motherly intentions, her warm embrace towards her and Guts' child. And it's just a very nice chapter. But it ends on that massive cliffhanger of just Griffith appearing from Guts' own son, in front of his eyes, transforming from the Moonlight Boy to himself. And obviously that was a big cliffhanger to leave it on, especially when we didn't know if at that point the series was going to continue. So moving on, we then had chapters 365 and 366 released at the same time, which was good, it was nice. It was also a real test to see like Studio Gaga and Kouji Mori could actually do, knowing that Miura had sadly passed. So let's get into chapter 365 and 366. At the start of chapter 366, we get Puck just flying across the room. It's quite a vivid image, almost surreal. We've got all of the mermaids coming up under the boat, when literally everyone, all of the Fae creatures, all of the Fae life realise that there is something seriously wrong on Elfhelm right now. As the panels focus on Casca, you can see she goes to the door because she too also realises something's wrong. And in fact, just before that, in chapter 364, she's almost having like traumatic memories play. Could this be just the power of like Griffith, Femto being around her? Quite possibly. So she walks to the door and she sees him in what is, I would say, one of the most impressive drawings of Griffith I think I could ever expect to see from someone other than Kentaro Miura. Like, Studio Gaga have done a fantastic job at portraying Griffith. What I've noticed about them is that they don't go to the lengths that Kentaro Miura did. Like, they don't go pixel for pixel, like every frame there's a face, it needs to look exactly like that face. They leave some of it in shadow, which is fair, because the most important thing is, can we tell who the characters still are? And that is a resounding yes. So as the brand of sacrifice begins to bleed on Casca, she just panics, and you have like a topless shot of her with the blood just kind of dripping down her chest from where she was branded. Like, all of her trauma comes flooding back to her, and Shirk even like is blown away by the sheer like force of the power that emanates from Griffith. I guess you could say that's an overwhelming sense of power, an overwhelming amount of OD, as Shirk and all magical users seem to call it, which is OD is the magical force in Berserk. that everything supposedly has, some stronger than others. Obviously, at this point, not only is Casca going mad again when she's only just been fixed from Potato Casca, but also Guts is just raging, completely raging. He's just so much anger in his face. He obviously runs straight up to Griffith, and he's just got the Dragon Slayer, he's hacking away, and it's just phasing through him. Phasing through Griffith, he cannot even touch Griffith. But, and there is a very big but to this, when he hacks through, it looks like a single strand of hair is actually somehow cut from Griffith. And a while back, Ganishka spoke about how powerful Griffith was and how that even if he sent thousands of men after Griffith, not a single person could cut Griffith's hair. And yet, this is not the case. With the Beast of Darkness showing across Guts' face, you can just tell as Guts is hacking down, trying to just tear apart Griffith, you can tell that Griffith just does not seem to give a damn. He's just so relaxed and so chilled. So Guts keeps swinging and swinging and swinging, and to no avail, he just can't do any damage to Griffith. But the single panel that shows that hair flowing away shows that there is in fact some kind of weakness. Now, we've known that for a long time. Griffith is obviously going to have some weakness of some kind, and this is because the ritual wasn't complete. With Guts and Casca escaping with the help of Skull Knight, perhaps that is one of the weaknesses. That means Fento cannot fire at full power. But that said, the fact that he's also in the body of Guts and Casca's child, that was obviously going to be his main weakness from the word go. No matter how much Guts is just absolutely raging and just wanting to absolutely decimate Griffith, he can't. All Griffith can do is just turn around and look with that smug expression he always maintains. And can I just say, the artwork for Griffith is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. More on that later. And just as Guts is angered even more by the fact that he can't hit Griffith at all, no matter how hard he tries, he just cannot hit Griffith. Shirk and Farnese are just what is up with him? What's up with Guts? Because they, obviously don't entirely know what happened. I understand that Shirk will have an idea. She's seen part of Casca's memory that really no child should ever have had to have seen. But both her and Farnese are just completely taken away, and not just by how Guts is reacting, but by the fact that seemingly nobody can really approach Griffith, other than of course Guts. One thing I do notice here is that Shirk looks very much how Kentaro Miura would draw Shirk, but Farnese is a little different. I mean, you're expecting the art style to change a bit because it's a new team, but the main thing here is Farnese, you can tell it's still Farnese. That is, without a doubt, there is no question, that is Farnese. But it's just a slightly different art style, so she looks a little bit different. Not necessarily a bad thing. Overall, the art is phenomenal, considering the team are mimicking their now, sadly deceased, departed, teacher, basically. And then just as Guts is dealing with the fact that Griffith is there, he has more things to worry about as Zod also shows up. And there are some inconsistencies in the art style here, which is to be expected. They've been releasing the chapters faster, much faster than Miura with his epic hiatuses. But yeah, I mean, you've got a close-up of Puck's face, and it's less detailed. Again, you can still tell it's Puck, but I think it's fine. For the detailed shots, Studio Gaga, they do go all out.
Oh, this isn't an illusion.
Just brief reaction shots. They don't do as much detail. They're not as crazy of a perfectionist as Kentaro Miura was, which is understandable because not many people are. But yeah, one of the main things that I thought was just a little bit odd was the way how Zod looked at the end of chapter 366. It's hard to tell, you can tell again it's Zod, but his grin is there's just something not quite right about his grin to me that makes him not look right. So anyway, chapter 367 leaked early, the English translation leaked early, and I managed to have a look at that yesterday, which is quite handy considering the video I was going to make before. I think it wouldn't have had as much substance had I not read this chapter before making this. But yeah, what happens is obviously Zod turns up. Griffith is just kind of not that bothered right now, but Zod loves fighting. We all know he loves fighting. And yeah, it's kind of like, is Zod and Guts going to have their final battle here? I don't think so. I think they've still got probably a battle to have in Falconia, but it will be interesting to see how far Guts has developed since then. Like, the first time he fought Zod, he could barely fight, and that was with the help of Griffith before the eclipse, and also the whole band of the Hawk, like all of the mercenaries that were there were able to try and help, and they just got massacred. And the only reason that Guts and Griffith lived was because Zod saw Griffith's bayonet around his neck. So that was the first time. The second encounter, on the Hill of Swords, they were pretty much equal. Guts fighting Zod, they were more or less equal. So this time, which will be the third encounter they have, because I'm excluding the time both Zod and Guts teamed up to fight Ganeshka, just because they weren't fighting against each other, they were helping, which was probably one of the coolest team-ups ever. Like, yeah, Marvel, whatever, you've got nothing on this. So this final fight, I wonder if Guts is going to give in to the Beast of Darkness just to fight Zod, and just to see how much damage he does to Zod. Will he scare Zod? I don't know, maybe. But the fact that he was able to fight Grumbeld with his Berserker armor, who has so much more defense than Zod, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, if it does play out that way. So then we have chapter 367, which immediately starts with Guts just absolutely enraged still. A close-up of Zod. Zod is swinging at Guts. Also to be noted here is Zod looks like he should again. He looks like the Zod we know and love. And Guts is already like, yeah, just what I need, because that's all he needs right now. Like, it seems like he and Griffith have no words for one another, because all they want to do is just attack each other. Well, more Guts wants to attack Griffith. Griffith has no desire to even interact with Guts at this point. So, whilst distracted by Zod, Guts obviously can't do anything about Griffith. So, sees an opportunity. Griffith kind of looks to his side and notices like just the aura of the Beast of Darkness, while Zod and Guts are duking it out. And then, whilst everyone starts to panic on the island, because the island is starting to literally fall apart, just at the sheer, I guess, power of Griffith being there, Griffith hops along, grabs Casca, and just escapes with her. And Guts just can't do anything about it, because at this point he's still like so engrossed in fighting Zod that there's nothing he can do. And there's a brief moment where Guts kind of escapes Zod just to try and swing at Griffith, but he can't. He has to stop his swing for fear of hitting Casca. At this point Guts is just shaking because there's literally nothing he can do, and then the ground just splits apart, dividing him from Griffith and Casca, at which point Griffith takes the opportunity to flee with Casca, leaving Guts frustrated once more because he vowed to never, ever lose sight of Casca again and to never stop protecting her. And now he's just failed that mission because once again Griffith has come along and just completely destroyed all of his plans right when he felt like he could relax. So where the story goes next, I don't know, but I'd imagine it's going to end up in Falconia because Griffith is probably going to take Casca away. Maybe, if nothing else, just to keep her in prison so that whenever he turns into the Moonlight Boy, he doesn't have to travel very far. And then the problem is, Guts won't be there. But at the same time, maybe he will be, because Griffith probably thought so far ahead with this that he knows if he takes Casca away, Guts is going to follow. So if both Guts and Casca end up in Falconia, as the Moonlight Boy, he won't actually have to leave his kingdom. So it won't be so much of an inconvenience to him. But you know, where things really go from here, I don't know. I mean, a cool idea would be that, you know, maybe for one reason or another, Casca does get to be able to mend. She probably meets up with Luca, maybe Rickert, and maybe they help nurse her back to good health. They're probably also surprised that she's got her mind back, because I'd imagine she's kind of fixed now. That will eventually happen, she just needs good people around her. And then once she gets back into top shape and on fighting form, again, perhaps she'll end up with a sword of actuation. Maybe something will happen to Skull Knight, or Skull Knight will gift his sword to her. And maybe in the final showdown, she could use his basically dimensional cutting ability to just travel in and out of dimensions to basically like phase attack, sneak attack, while Guts is like doing all the heavy work. So maybe they'll become a really good team. I mean, with Guts' party at the minute, he's already got a pretty strong party, with Elfhelm effectively being in ruins. I'd say most of the Fae are going to have to leave. Maybe Danon will, you know, join the party as well. And you've got Rickert's party with Sylar and you know, the Bakaraka. So I think this is going to end up in a very, very big fight. I see potentially like Berserk going on for another 2 to 3 arcs, but I don't think we'll be waiting anywhere near as long as we would have been with Miura's hiatuses. But at the end of chapter 367, it does actually specify that the next chapter, 368, will be on August the 12th, and at that point I believe it will transition from Elfhelm into wherever it's going next at 370. I think that's about right, because they're going to be doing about 6 chapters, and I think that was from 364, so I don't think it included 364. If that's the case, it'd be 365, 366, 367, 368, 369, 370. So yeah, there's a lot of good things to look forward to, really. I was also thinking about things like the artwork. Some people really don't like it. I've seen things on YouTube where they're saying, oh, it's complete trash, just probably because Miura's not doing it right now, but it's not. Kouji Mori knows the entire story. Like, he's been really good friends with Kentaro Miura for all of his life, pretty much, like since school. A long time ago for them, because you know, they're both, to my knowledge, in their 50s. I think they're in the same year, so same school year. But yeah, he's doing a good job so far. He said he's not going to deviate from anything that Miura told him. He's going to keep everything on point, so that's good. And the team are just, in my mind, completely on point with the art style. Like, I think it's amazing what they're doing, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing next. Ultimately, the latest 3 chapters by Studio Gaga and Kouji Mori are fantastic, worthy of the Berserk name, and a true compliment to Kentaro Miura's legacy. I understand that not everyone will like that, but that is how I truly feel, and I'm looking forward to Studio Gaga continuing each chapter. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm still trying to find my feet, so I'm sure my videos will get better in time. But what I want to say is keep an eye out for my next video, because that one is actually going to be about a Berserk themed piece of clothing I painted 5 years ago, and it still holds up today. It's a good one, and I'm actually quite looking forward to showing it off. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and get me to that 1,000 subscriber count eventually. I would love you forever, because yeah, I would like to start doing giveaways with my jackets, like painting, turning them into episodes, and just, you know, giving one away every 3 months or so. I'd also look into doing commissions, so if that's something you're interested in, just hit me up, leave a message in the comments, and I can work out a way to get back to you. And yeah, take on commissions, turn that jacket painting into an episode, so you can see the process, and then I can get it sent to you. But obviously I'm a long way away from that yet, or 50 subscribers. But thank you very much to everyone who's subscribed so far. My Berserk video seems to do the best at the minute. My Amelie painted jacket didn't do too badly. It got me the most subscribers, which is nice. I was at, I think, 39 before I started any of this, so also thank you to everyone who subscribed to me beforehand. But yeah, it would mean a lot if you liked, subscribed, and hit that little bell notification, jingle jingle, to just get all the updates from every time I put a video out. Like, I'm aiming to put out 1 to 2 videos a week. I have other plans in mind right now. I've got my entire Elden Ring stream. I say stream, my entire Elden Ring playthrough I've been recording, and we'll be uploading that at some point too. That is also Berserk edition because I'm a big Berserk fan. Like 2 of the people I like watching on YouTube are Real Life Ryan and The Masked Man. I feel like they've both got very good Berserk content. Maybe one day I'll get to that level. I'm not there yet, but you know, it's something I'm passionate about, and it's something that I would like to keep talking about. And the more time I'm on camera, the more confident I'll come across, and the more I'll be able to freely talk about stuff. Like, I don't know about any of you, but I have a lot of anxiety. It's not that I'm shy or embarrassed to be on camera, because it's quite the opposite. It's more, I get a kind of brain fog, which just really makes it hard to focus on what I'm trying to say and convey it. And it's so frustrating because I know what I want to say, it's just getting it out. But I'm just getting myself more comfortable with that. The more I film, the more that will happen. And yeah, really, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me so far, who's liked my video, who's watched my videos. Leave me a comment if you want me to paint anything specific, whether it's like Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, anything anime related, computer game related. And yeah, the most commonly occurring one I'll do. And if I only get 1 vote, then that's what I'll paint next. But yeah, my channel is going to be all about gaming and all about painting. Like, artwork and gaming are my 2 things. Maybe I'll occasionally do some videos on Magic the Gathering because I play the most hated elves. I've got a pretty good elf deck. Yeah, and maybe I'll do a few videos about Warhammer as well. Because I like painting models occasionally. I've made like hand sculpted small models. I'm working on a Guts one at the minute, which I need to get back to, but it was looking pretty cool. And also a mini chestburster alien, because I'm a big fan of James Cameron's Aliens. Obviously Ridley Scott's Alien is great as well, but James Cameron's Aliens is the best, one of my all-time favourites. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching my Berserk video. I should have something new for you soon. Keep an eye out for my jacket. Peace, bye bye.